Hello, my dear friends. Today, I am sharing a story that holds a special place in my heart. My name is Ananya Roy. I am 28 years old, and I work as a freelance graphic designer. My life revolves around creating art, bringing ideas to life through colors and designs, and capturing emotions on digital canvases. I live in Pune, a city I adore for its mix of hustle and calmness. It's a place where dreams and traditions coexist beautifully. I grew up in a middle-class family, the only child of loving parents. My father is a retired school teacher, and my mother is a homemaker who loves gardening. Our small but cozy house is filled with warmth and countless potted plants, each nurtured like a family member. Life wasn't always easy, but my parents taught me the value of hard work and kindness. I love quiet evenings with a good book and a cup of chai, and my favorite spot is our rooftop under the open sky. Little did I know that one starry evening, my quiet life would change forever. It all began on a breezy October night, the kind of night that makes you want to sit outside and gaze at the stars. I was on my rooftop, sketching a new design for a project, surrounded by the faint aroma of night jasmine. Across the street was an old house that had been vacant for years. That day, I noticed lights on for the first time, and my curiosity piqued. Who could have moved in? Just as I was lost in thought, I heard a soft hum of a familiar tune. Someone was singing. It was a melodious voice, warm and soothing, like a lullaby under the stars. I leaned over the railing, trying to pinpoint the source. There he was, sitting on the terrace of the newly occupied house. A man, probably in his early 30s, strumming a guitar and singing. He was tall, with slightly messy hair and a calm demeanor that drew me in instantly. The next evening, I found myself waiting for the singing to start again. And it did. His voice carried a kind of magic, one that wrapped around my heart and made me smile for no reason. Days turned into weeks, and this became our unspoken routine. I would sketch, he would sing, and though we never spoke, it felt like a silent friendship blooming under the stars. One evening, as I was sketching a portrait inspired by him, unknowingly, of course, I realized he was looking at me. Our eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to pause. He smiled, and I, flustered, quickly looked away. But that was the start. The next morning, I found a small note attached to a potted plant near our common boundary wall. It read, "Hi, I'm Arav. Sorry if my singing disturbs you. I noticed you sketching. Your art looks beautiful from afar. Maybe someday I'll get a closer look." Arav. His name lingered in my mind all day. I wrote back on the same note, "Hi, Arav. Your singing doesn't disturb me. In fact, I look forward to it every evening. And thank you for the compliment." From that day, our notes became frequent. We talked about everything: music, art, our favorite books, dreams, and fears. I learned that Arav was 30 years old, a software engineer who had recently moved to Pune from Delhi. He loved music and played the guitar to unwind after a long day of coding. One evening, after weeks of exchanging notes, he invited me over for chai. It was the first time we met in person. Sitting on his terrace, surrounded by fairy lights and soft music, we talked for hours. His smile was contagious, and his kindness shone through in every word he spoke. As months passed, Arav and I became inseparable. We explored the city together, from hidden bookshops to bustling street markets. He would strum his guitar while I sketched, our evenings blending into a harmony of music and art. One night, under the same starry sky where it all began, Arav confessed his feelings. "Ananya, you've turned my life into a song I never want to stop singing. I think I'm falling for you," he said, his eyes sincere and full of hope. My heart raced. "Arav, I feel the same," I admitted, tears of joy welling up in my eyes. Our love story wasn't without challenges. Arav's parents, traditional and conservative, initially disapproved of his choice to marry someone from a different background. It hurt, but we stood by each other. With time and countless conversations filled with respect and love, they saw the bond we shared and accepted our relationship. A year later, on a quiet evening, Arav proposed. He took me to our favorite spot, the rooftop, and played a song he had written for me. As the last note faded, he held out a ring and asked, "Ananya, will you be my forever under these stars?" With tears streaming down my face, I said yes. Life after Arav's proposal felt like a dream. Planning the wedding was a blend of excitement and nervous energy. Arav and I decided on an intimate ceremony, surrounded by our closest family and friends, under an open sky lit by fairy lights. After all, it was the stars that had always been our silent witnesses. We chose a date in December, a season where Pune's weather was perfect, cool, crisp, and inviting. My mother's little garden was transformed into a magical venue, adorned with marigolds and soft lanterns. Arav and I wanted simplicity, something that reflected who we were. On the morning of our wedding, I found myself sitting by the same rooftop where our story began. A breeze rustled the pages of my sketchbook, where I had drawn countless memories of Arav over the months. My heart was a mix of calm and chaos, a whirlwind of emotions as I thought about the life ahead of us. When I walked down the aisle, dressed in a pastel lehenga that Arav had once offhandedly said would suit me, I saw him waiting for me, his face radiant with joy. As the priest recited the vows, Arav and I locked eyes, silently promising a lifetime of love, understanding, and togetherness. After the rituals, Arav surprised me with another of his creations, a song. He had composed it for me, describing our journey, from the first note he left on the potted plant to this moment of becoming one. It wasn't just a song, it was a reminder of everything we had overcome and how deeply we were connected. Marriage brought a new rhythm to our lives. Arav and I moved into a cozy apartment not far from my parents' house. It was small, with large windows that let in streams of sunlight during the day and framed the stars at night. Every corner of that home carried a piece of us. We divided household chores, often turning mundane tasks into moments of laughter. Arav, who couldn't cook beyond instant noodles, learned how to make my favorite dishes. On lazy Sunday mornings, we'd experiment in the kitchen, sometimes succeeding, sometimes laughing over a burnt breakfast. Evenings were still our time. Arav's music and my sketches blended seamlessly, creating an atmosphere of love and creativity. Often, we'd sit on our balcony, talking about our dreams. Arav wanted to start a music school someday, and I dreamed of having my own art studio. Together, we imagined a future where our passions could inspire others. A year into our marriage, life threw us a curveball. Arav got an incredible job offer in Bangalore, and it required him to relocate. The thought of leaving Pune, our home, was daunting. Arav worried about uprooting me from the city I loved, but I knew this opportunity meant a lot to him. "Ananya, I don't want to force you to move. Your work, your life, it's all here," Arav said one night as we sat on our balcony. I held his hand and smiled. "Arav, home isn't a place, it's where you are. If Bangalore is where our next chapter begins, then I'll follow." Bangalore was a whirlwind of change. The city buzzed with life, and adjusting wasn't easy. I missed Pune, the quiet comfort of my parents' house, and our little routines. But Arav's support made all the difference. He encouraged me to explore, find inspiration in the city's vibrant streets, and connect with other artists. I started attending local art exhibitions and even displayed my work at a few. Slowly, I found my footing. Arav, too, thrived in his new role, but he always made time for us, no matter how busy he was. 2 years later, our lives took another unexpected turn, this time in the form of a tiny heartbeat. I still remember the day I found out I was pregnant. Arav was on a conference call when I showed him the test results. His reaction? He froze mid-sentence, excused himself, and then lifted me off the ground in a spin. The months that followed were filled with anticipation and excitement. Arav became my pillar of strength, taking care of me in every possible way. He'd read books about pregnancy, attend every doctor's appointment, and even write little songs for the baby. When our daughter Tara was born, it felt as though the universe had gifted us its brightest star. She had Arav's eyes and my smile, and from the moment we held her, life took on a new meaning. Our days became a beautiful chaos of sleepless nights, baby giggles, and learning how to be parents. Arav would sing Tara to sleep while I sketched moments from our new life together. We were a team, navigating this new phase hand in hand. As Tara grew, so did the depth of our love and the rhythm of our lives. Parenthood transformed us in ways we never imagined. Arav and I found joy in the simplest things, watching Tara's tiny milestones, her first smile, her first laugh, her first hesitant steps. Each moment felt like a celebration of life itself. One night, after Tara had fallen asleep, Arav and I found ourselves on the balcony again, our sanctuary under the stars. The air was cool, and the city lights twinkled in the distance. Arav was strumming his guitar softly, the tune familiar but unfinished. "Is that a new song?" I asked, leaning against his shoulder. "It's something I've been working on," he said, his voice low and thoughtful. "It's about us, how far we've come and how much further we'll go." His words stayed with me. Arav had this way of seeing life as a continuous journey, each moment an opportunity to grow, love, and create. It inspired me to embrace the uncertainties of life with open arms. Tara's personality began to blossom. By the time she was 3, she was curious, creative, and as stubborn as her father. Arav would laugh, saying, "She's got your fire, Ananya," while I insisted she got it from him. One evening, while I was busy sketching, Tara toddled over with a piece of paper and some crayons. She wanted to draw like her mama. Arav joined us, grabbing his guitar, and we turned it into a family art and music session. Those moments, though simple, became the foundation of a home filled with creativity and love. As Tara approached school age, Arav and I faced another big decision. My freelance work had taken off, and I was getting offers to collaborate on larger projects. Meanwhile, Arav's dream of starting a music school was still on hold, waiting for the right time. One evening, as we watched Tara play in the park, Arav turned to me. "Ananya, I think it's time I take the leap. I want Tara to see her dad following his passion. What do you think?" I didn't hesitate. "I think it's the best decision you could make." Arav left his corporate job a few months later and began laying the groundwork for his music school. It was a challenging transition, financially, emotionally, and logistically, but we knew it was worth it. I took on more projects to support us during the initial phase, while Arav poured his heart into building his dream. The day Arav's music school, Harmony Haven, opened its doors, I saw a spark in his eyes that reminded me of the nights he used to sing on the rooftop. Tara and I were there, cheering him on as he welcomed his first batch of students. Life settled into a new kind of balance. Arav's school thrived, becoming a haven for aspiring musicians. My art studio became a reality too, a space where I could create and host workshops. Tara grew up surrounded by creativity, often dabbling in both music and art. One evening, as we sat in the living room, Tara, now 6, held up a drawing she had made, a family portrait. It was simple but heartwarming. Arav with his guitar, me with my sketchbook, and Tara holding both a crayon and a tiny toy keyboard. "This is us," she said proudly. Arav and I exchanged smiles. In that moment, we realized that everything we had worked for, every challenge we had faced, had led us here. Years passed, and our love only deepened. Tara grew into a confident young girl, her laughter filling our home. Arav and I celebrated every anniversary by revisiting the rooftop where it all began, under the same stars that had witnessed the start of our journey. One such evening, Arav surprised me yet again. He handed me a sketchbook, one he had secretly filled with his own drawings, simple but heartfelt sketches of our life together. "I've been watching you for years, Ananya," he said, his voice soft. "This is my way of showing you what I see, what you've given me, what we've built together." Tears filled my eyes as I flipped through the pages. There were drawings of our first meeting, our wedding, Tara's first steps, and countless little moments in between. "Arav, this is beautiful," I whispered, overwhelmed. He smiled, pulling me close. "Our story is beautiful, Ananya, and it's still being written." Even now, as I sit here on our balcony, reflecting on our journey, I feel nothing but gratitude. Life has been far from perfect, but it has been real, raw, and filled with love. And as the stars twinkle above, I know that our story, much like the universe, will continue to expand, each moment a testament to the magic of love. Because in the end, love is not just about the big gestures, it's about the everyday moments, the quiet support, the shared dreams, and the unwavering belief in each other. And that's the kind of love we have, a love that will last, no matter how many stars come and go. Star,